A Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, I think Anthony Burgess was a little off with this one. Although, I don't know, maybe he's not. Maybe 1980 really was already dystopian.
Well, the movie was made in 1971
right.
and set in 1980.
Right.
So not a big leap in imagination for Anthony Burgess. And what starts out with them, the Droogs.
Right, so Alex has a gang. Mm-hmm. Alex's gang is a bunch of damn hoodlums, a bunch of damn ruffians.
Yeah. I noticed this milk bar that they're at, it's using the naked women for furniture.
Mm-hmm.
And
and it's interesting, too, that it's a milk bar. So is milk now kind of edgy? It's banned, right? Vegan. We're in a vegan world,
it's
maybe?
It's Milk Plus. Did you know?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever looked into what he's saying is in the Milk Plus? What is the plus of Milk Plus?
No, I don't know this. I've not read the book.
So it says Milk Plus Velocet or Synthamesc or Adrenochrome.
So it's basically Bill Gates' milk. Right? Well, GMO milk.
Adrenochrome is very close to Adrenochrome, but then there's like Synthmesc, which could be like mescaline or like...
Oh, so you get a buzz from it and you get Adrenochrome.
Yeah. And Velocet, I don't know what that means. I had
probably like a Percocet, like a...
Oh, okay.
So the milk bar is just
drugs.
Just drugs.
Like legalized drugs.
Pharmaceutical titty milk.
Yes.
Right.
That comes out of the statue.
You're sucking from the teat of Big Pharma.
So they go on their nightly robbery spree, beating frenzy.
Just a bunch of damn ne'er-do-wells.
Yes. Hooligans.
Yes.
And he hates drunks for some reason. Maybe maybe his parents drink too much.
Maybe he had a drunk parent, yeah.
Yeah. So they come upon a drunkard and they rough him up for fun. And then they come upon a rival gang. So there's these gangs that fight each other.
Droogs A and Droogs B.
Yeah. And they're raping a girl in a theater. And they fight and the girl gets away. So they continue to cruise around terrorizing.
Little of the old ultraviolence.
And yeah,
little of the old in-out. Mm-hmm. A little savage bit of the old in-out.
His slang is really bad.
Well, the slang is part of the story because the language has been so degenerated that it's almost like another language. That's part of the point of Burgess's dystopia.
And they come upon this house and they get in somehow by trickery.
Okay, I don't remember. Yeah, they tell them that they need to, I forget why, they come in.
Or they're like, we had an accident, we need to use your phone or whatever. She lets them in.
Is this the old guy or the woman?
This is the writer. So he'll come back up at the end of the movie.
The professor. Mm-hmm. Author, yeah.
And there's like this contrast between how sophisticated him and his wife are. They have a nice house, they have modern art, they have all the like top of the line. Mm-hmm. He's very well read, he's an artist, writer, whatever. She looks nice and fit. And then here come these hooligans busting in, this youth, right?
Right.
And just wreck everything.
Right, so it's just general chaos.
Yeah.
Right. Well, he represents a primal kind of untamed, savage humanity.
Yes, and something that's easily manipulated, we'll find out also.
Right, and that's where the Ludovico method is going to come in as an attempt to rid mankind of his biological drives and impulses. Mm-hmm. To civilize him, right? Mm-hmm. And we'll find out that this is more or less a kind of operant conditioning Pavlovian / MKUltra program.
Mm-hmm. So, do you notice his neighborhood and his apartment building where he lives is real dumpy? Like, it's the trashiest neighborhood for no reason.
Well, he's low class.
Yeah.
Right.
Their public art is defaced down in the lobby, and it's just like a dump, basically. Mm-hmm. But his culture comes from Beethoven. He really loves Beethoven.
Yeah, there's a weird element that he has this appreciation kind of randomly for Beethoven's, ninth? Mm-hmm. And so he'll retreat to his room and listen to this because it's so foreign to the world that he inhabits and what he does on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. And the bedroom scene is interesting because there's an obsession, not just with that, but also there's inexplicably elements of religious devotion there. So Alex has a serpent, a naked woman, 4 Jesus statues, clumsily kind of rammed together. And this is like, it's almost like his kind of crude religious altar. Mm-hmm. So he'll retreat to this weird mix of things, a snake in a drawer.
He puts the snake on the altar.
Yeah. And then he plays Beethoven. So it's very bizarre. We don't really know, but it seems to be a kind of a weird, almost satanic devotion that he has. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, and his parents are working class. And their taste is ridiculous. I don't know if they're trying to say that this generation is tacky or...
His parents?
Yeah. So his mom wears these ridiculous wigs and their wallpaper and their furnishings, and it's just over-the-top, ridiculous, cartoon-like.
Yeah. I think the point is that their class of people in that generation is completely brainwashed. Mm-hmm. And so they're just totally apathetic. They have no interest or care or concern for their son, what he's up to, what's going on. They just sit and watch TV all day, mm-hmm. which was a pretty powerful dystopian prediction of the power of TV and the influence of television, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So he fakes sick so he doesn't have to go to school, and he gets a visit from this guy. And you told me, I didn't catch how he was related to the family.
He's not related. He's a CPS worker.
Okay, so he just randomly...
And he molests them.
Right. So, in that scene...
The government social worker obviously molests them. So basically it's presenting a satanic Luciferian society, right? I mean, that's the thing here, is that it's not just a dystopia. I think there's a clear message of living in a satanic aeon. And go ahead.
I just noticed there are no good adults in his life.
No.
We'll find.
Right. So the previous generation is the one that had been destroyed, and that's why they have this total dystopia. Mm-hmm. And we find out who's really running things is actually a scientific dictator. Oh, so if you notice that the parents were brainwashed by TV, clearly. They just sit and watch TV. They're totally obsessed with this stupid consumerism and game shows or whatever nonsense is on TV. And then make the connection there, right, to when Alex is in the clinic, and how do they principally re-pattern and re-imprint him? TV.
The video.
Right. So the whole of the aesthetic of the whole society is
pornographic. Yeah.
Pornographic.
Sorry.
And yet at the same time, it's like it's wrong for Alex to be acting like an animal when the whole society raises people like animals, right? Mm-hmm. And so I like that contradictory element, because that's how the world is, right? We're just saturated in a totally prawn culture, and then at the same time there's these elements of just hyper contradiction, right? At an extreme level. Right, mm-hmm. Which is precisely, I think, the root of the dystopia is that it's just at every level it's contradictory. Mm-hmm. The whole society becomes dissociative, becomes doublethink, and it's just a giant contradiction.
Yeah, well, even his conversion. So when he gets caught and goes to jail, they ask him what religion he is.
Oh, I forgot about the jail scene.
And he says Church of England, so they pair him with the Church of England preacher. He's like a fire and brimstone kind of pastor, right?
Yeah, he's got this kind of Calvinist, puritanical COE preacher.
And he's the preacher's Sunday helper, and he's like reading the Bible, but as he's reading the Bible, he's imagining himself as a Roman soldier. So he puts himself in the roles of the predators of the Bible. Right.
So the point here, I think, is that just this droog, right, trying to read and understand the Bible is kind of pointless, and all he does is use it as a way to interject himself into the story as this kind of villain, which is so. Just reading the Bible, in other words, the church has failed to reform man is the point, right? Because remember, it's a dystopian story, so mm-hmm. It's presenting all these failed attempts at how to fix things.
So he likes the violent and the tawdry parts of the Bible.
Yes. So his parents are total failures. This church, obviously, the Church of England is a total joke, total failure in reality, and accurately presented as a complete failure in the book. And so what's interesting is that the traditional elements of society have failed, and now we're going to move into the technocratic, scientistic, pragmatic, will to power attempt to completely socially engineer and change man.
Yeah, so he goes to this pastor and he says, "Can I talk to you privately?" And the pastor's like, "Oh, sure, my son." So there's another... The pastor immediately goes to, is it like a sensual conversation? And Alex is like, no, it's nothing like that. So the pastor was... It didn't explicitly say anything, but it was like implying that this is something the pastor likes to talk about with boys, or... It was just kind of creepy.
No, I think there was a creepy element to that. And of course, again, you know, the COE and these groups have been full of PEDOs for ages. So nothing surprising here. Roman Catholic Church, COE, yes. High-level PEDOs for sure.
So he's like, "You could tell me about it." You know. And then Alex is like, "No, it's about this program that I heard if you go through it, you get out of jail quicker." And this is the Ludovico treatment, right? Yeah.
And I think this is just a stand-in for operant conditioning, Pavlov, Watson, all of these people who have a Skinner box. This is all people loosely connected to MKUltra, because the same people studying and promoting MKUltra via CIA, again, have correct connections to MIT, Rockefeller Foundation, who are, behind people like Skinner, behind people like Alfred Kinsey. So the PEDO establishment and people like Kinsey's funded by the Rockefeller Foundation. This is all loosely in the circles of MKUltra. So I read this as a complete 100% example of how the MKUltra programs were being studied and being used for society as a whole. And that's the key insight that Kubrick's film presents, is that the whole point of the Ludovico treatment is how to change society.
And it's interesting that Alex is a sociopath because he just wants to be good, but he doesn't exactly know what that is because he doesn't really have a conscience. But he's kind of mimicking what other people are telling him is good so that he can get out of his unfortunate situation.
Alex is an animal who is like a test subject animal. So he's like a rat in the lab. He's like a mouse from Disneyland. He's a test subject. He's a chimp in the lab who is just led to the next phase. He just goes along with whatever those above him are using him for.
And it's interesting, they go and look at his cell, and it's the prawn and Jesus, just like his old bedroom. He's got the same setup in there. So
yeah, Skinner, Watson, it's basically MKUltra. And what's interesting is that when they strap him down and they force him to watch all of these horrific scenes, it produces in him this catatonic state.
And the actors that are doing the reenactments of violence are dressed like him and his droogs. Do you know
so the idea is to perfect man, right? And again, I have to stress how close this was to what the MKUltra projects were really trying to do. I mean, it wasn't so much, as we said, about studying alternate personalities and trying to create assassins and this kind of stuff. That's part of it. So there is MK Naomi, there is MK Delta, there is MK Search, but really what this is about is mapping and having a totality picture of the human mind. And that's why we know about documentaries like Minds of Men, it shows the people from MKUltra directly going into cybernetics. And so the goal was to create feedback loops. The goal was to master the human mind. The whole goal, Alex is the youth. He's the next generation who has been molested, who's been brainwashed, who's been abused,
neglected.
becomes a lab rat for the system. And he's oblivious. That's the amazing part, is that he never kind of figures out what's going on. And how applicable is this to the average normie? I mean, he's like the chav today, right? Think about the chav in the UK. I mean, Alex predicted the chav.
Yeah, he's just going through the motions of everything that society is telling him to do and enjoy, and this is what happens to him.
The attempt is to root out of him anything that's perceived to be natural, and what's natural is his sort of rebellious, animalistic drives, which he's had basically rooted out of him. He's being domesticated. That's part of the story, is that the goal of the Royal Society, the goal of MKUltra, was to domesticate man. So people who are the power structure that this film is representing, that the Burgess is representing, is the people like Huxley. It's the people like Julian Huxley, Bertrand Russell, and their whole plan was to do these kinds of projects to domesticate man. And again, look how predictive this was. The normalization of PEDO, right? That's in this film. The just total brutalization of the youth. The youth are just turned into animals, right? It's all here in this film. And again, I don't think it's that great of a film. It's a good movie in the sense of just what it's presenting and how it's made. It's very hard to watch. It's very brutal. It's not a pleasant experience.
No.
But at all. And it's not supposed to be.
But the point RAPE scenes and the fighting.
The point of it is that it's, in terms of psychology, pharmacology, academia, psychiatry, medicine, this is the world that technocracy is going to create. And this is the world that we're in right now.
Yeah. So when he's cured, he gets sick at the violence and the nudity and the music. And they go in to showcase what they've done in front of the police and whoever is in on his rehabilitation, and his pastor's there. And they have a little fight because he's like, You've taken away his free will. And they're like...
That's Bertrand Russell.
Yeah.
Bertrand Russell says, we will stamp out man's will.
And he's like, we've made him a true Christian now. So the
Christianity that is the false presupposition of modern liberalism is the universal technocracy. It's a mutated, distorted Christianity that gives rise to this idea of the complete control and domestication of mankind.
And then when he goes home, he's been replaced. So not one adult in this whole thing has reacted in a good way. His parents now have rented his room to another dude.
Each strata of society is evil.
Yeah. So
in other words, the adult generation is who produced his generation, and they're both the products of the social engineer technocrats. And they can't recognize it. How true is this for all of us? Do you hear this, guys? We live in this world now. The normies, the boomers, they don't recognize that this is the world where Kubrick is, just like Eyes Wide Shut, Kubrick's telling you that this is what reality is. We live in this world where the people around us don't recognize that the social engineers and technocrats have created the nonsense, stupid world that we live in. And the only reason that it continues is because most people can't understand that. Just like Alex, just like his parents' generation.
Yeah. Which
is sad, but it is. It is what it is.
So
Boomer phrase, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And by the way, yes, the symbolism of the poster in the film, the consistent all-seeing eye imagery of Alex is showing you that Alex is the product of this Luciferian satanic elite. That's who they want to create. This complete, controlled, domesticated, mind-controlled, brainwashed subject.
So his parents are not happy to see him, and they throw him out, and he's out on the street. It's sad because he actually thinks that he's reformed. He's like, I'm all better now, even though he's still a sociopath. And who does he run into when he's out on the street? But so the third act, he has to meet up with everybody that he wronged in the first act.
Mm-hmm.
So he meets the bums and they beat him up. And then the cops are his old friends that he had feud with. And they rough him up. And then he ends up back at the house where the writer lived that he robbed.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Who exacts revenge on him. Yeah.
Yes, but that guy also has a political agenda, so they've been watching this in the news. That's another part of this, is that he's making the tabloids every time something happens because he's a young murderer.
Right.
And then he makes headlines for going into the Ludovico, and everyone's watching what happens to this young guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guy that he wronged has him in his grips, and he tortures him, makes him throw himself out the window. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what?
I mean, I don't have a whole lot beyond just pointing out that he is the creation of the kind of society of a Saint Just, a Saint Simon, Auguste Comte, the Illuminist tradition of socialism, communism, rationalism, scientism, all blended together in the product of what the CIA is giving us today with the MKUltra pop culture. I mean, that is what, and the whole point of the milk bar stuff at the beginning is that he's also a product of the pop culture of his day.
Mm-hmm. Well, the last little twist was that the writer actually turned out to be a government subversive writer, and they put him away.
The professor guy?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't remember this.
So Alex lives after he jumps out the window, and he's laying there in the hospital bed, and the government guy's feeding him his meal.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, that writer man, we put him away because he's a subversive.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're going to do everything we can to make this right by you because they're really unpopular now in the press.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, they're going to give you a job and we're going to make you happy. And so they just continue to use him as a propaganda pawn.
Yeah, he's just still floating along, clueless as to what's
and
really
they're literally hand feeding him at the end. Like, this is what you're going to do.
Yeah, and he's just going.
Yeah, more. Yeah. That's good. So Clockwork Orange. Pretty good. Pretty not good also in some ways.